I damn sure don't want to be 40 years old still worrying about my hair loss. I just no.
Once you know that the hair loss is happening, right? Really, it doesn't matter what treatment you try to use to hold on to it. The damage is almost already done. It's always there, right? The problem is persistent. I'm excited for this one, man. I'm really excited. How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the Bold Cafe podcast. This is now episode 14. In today's episode, I'm very pleased to be welcoming Justin. He's been following me on the Instagram and whatnot for a little while. We've been interacting back and forth over there. Really excited to hear his story. Go right into it, because if you're new here, this is the podcast where we share stories about hair loss, about going bald, how we went with it, how we dealt with it, and I think it really helps a lot of guys out there to listen to other people's stories. So, Justin, how's it going, man? You're looking fantastic. Pleasure to have you here.
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Harry, how you doing, man? I appreciate you for having me, man. It's been an inspiration for, I speak for a lot of guys. You've been an inspiration for all of us.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, I'm doing fantastic. I really enjoy doing these podcast episodes, you know, sharing stories. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you on here, man. Absolute pleasure. In true Bold Cafe style, we're going to go straight into it. We're going to head straight back. We've been back and forth in the DMs, and I know for you, the hair loss started at a very young age. Take me back then when it first sort of started, or you first sort of noticed about it, you know, were conscious of this whole hair loss thing.
Well, I noticed that first when I was my junior year of high school. I remember I was 16. I know growing up as a teenager, it was a style to have the cornrows and stuff. And I was like, all right. So my mom said, hey, I wanted to grow my hair out. Let me get some cornrows or something. Like around 16, I noticed that. I tried to do it, but I started knowing my hairline was pushed back a little bit. I was all right, that's kind of weird. And back then, I was getting like the number 2 haircut, guard. As soon as I noticed that happened, I went to the barber, went to another number 0, just because I was like, all right, 16, I said, my hairline, I was like, all right. I said, maybe it's just me. And now looking back, when I have pictures around the house when I'm 16 and my hairline's pushed back, I'm like, how the hell did I go to high school like that?
Oh, no way.
It's part of my language.
Yeah. So I guess at the start, you kind of thought, oh, this is a bit strange, but you only realized years later that was probably when the whole hair loss started for you. Is that right?
Absolutely. So before that, like 14 to 15, like I always had a mature hairline, but as soon as I had the picture up there, it just seems my temples started going back, and it just, growing up in high school, I always thought I was like older than people thought I was. People thought I was like 28 when I was 16.
Oh, really?
30 when I was, so I was like, growing up it didn't make sense, but now it makes sense now.
Yeah. And you said you noticed yourself. Did any of your friends notice, or any family members notice at all? Back then when you were younger, did they sort of mention it to you?
Cousins stuff used to joke around me. They used to cut my hair and stuff. They used to joke and stuff about they said, man, you got a big forehead. Back then, notice that. Yeah. But it was actually a hairline going back. So it's back then and stuff, it didn't even register in my head, but I knew something was up, and that's why I noticed. I was like, let me just get a number 0. Yeah.
And so how old were you when you decided to just get rid of it and take it all off?
With the razor, I was 20. I was 24, because it's just as soon as I was a teenager, kept going with the number 0, and over time, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's when I got pictures of me when I'm 21, just fully how it is right now, just temples just way back. Yeah. And I just was embarrassed deep down inside. I knew it, but I was like, oh, just maybe no one noticed. And then, especially at age 21, 22, and then at 23 years old, that's when someone finally pointed out to me about it, my hairline being all the way back. And then that's when I was like, wow. I said, someone actually noticed. I said, I got to do something about this, man. Right. I said, I can't go walking around like this.
Yeah. And so, right, so you're sort of 16, you've got your teenage years, and you're aware of the hair loss, right? You're kind of aware that the hairline's going back. And did you know it was male pattern baldness? Did you know you were going bald, or how conscious were you of it?
I think I was a little bit conscious of it, because I knew, because especially on my mom's side of the family, all 3 of my uncles went bald in their 20s. So I knew growing up, I was like, because one of my favorite uncles, his name is Stanley, he went bald like 21. Right. Yeah. So I knew, I said, oh man, it's Dad, I had a full head of hair, but mother's side, all my uncles just total balls. I said, I knew one day. I was like, I can see that being my future. So I was conscious about it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't taking over my head because I had other insecurities like any other teenager in high school. So it's
I mean, if you're comfortable, I wouldn't mind talking a bit more about that. I remember you saying, you're a bit self-conscious about your weight and stuff
absolutely.
like that.
Yep.
And so, did the sort of anxiety and the and the sort of negativity around your weight, did that kind of overshadow the worries about the hair loss, or because I feel like this is a thing that I'm trying to struggle with myself. I think if you already have a sort of low self-esteem, I think for a lot of guys, when you add hair loss into the mix as well, it makes the problem of hair loss seem all that much worse, right? Like it's the final blow, like that's the last thing, it's game over. But what was interesting, from what you said is that, okay, you already had these insecurities, but with the hair loss, you kind of felt, okay, I don't want that as an insecurity as well. So you managed to kind of deal with it too. Tell me a bit more about that, because I find it really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Growing up, I was always one of the chubbiest ones in high school and stuff, and I just went really insecure about that. That stretch marks, I was like, that just took over hair loss. Because even though I knew my hairline was going up, I was way more self-conscious about my weight growing up, and I was like, oh, especially when I deal with girls and stuff. So it's like, man, I said, growing up as a teenager, I was like, man, I just did not feel comfortable at all in my skin. Even besides the hair loss thing, I was like, even that's just like a cherry added on top to it. Because I was like, man, even that. But I knew my weight. I said, growing up, I said, man, as soon as I graduated high school, I said, I got to do something about this. And then after I graduated high school, I lost the weight. And then that's when the hair loss thing just came back in.
I see.
Much bigger deal because it's like, I lost the weight, got that. And then the hair loss thing, I was like, man, I do not want to be growing up and be insecure about something else, because that weight just took over my teenage years from 14, 15. I didn't want to hang out with friends or anything. I didn't want to talk to no girls. I didn't want to go to no parties because I was like, man, I do not feel like a man.
Yeah, you don't feel good, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I get it. That's interesting. So you actually managed them. You said when you were younger, the biggest insecurity for you was with your weight, but you managed to kind of overcome that. So then maybe then through overcoming that, you would already built up this sort of confidence in yourself, and you were like, oh, well, if I can tackle that, then hey, let's do the same thing with hair loss. Is that right, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I had the confidence from that. And I was like, because I knew, it's like, looking back on it now, I say, I wish I would have just not cared as a teenager, just lived my life and just been how confident I am as I am right now. Because as soon as the hair loss thing, when I was 21, I was like, dude, I'm not going to spend another 4 or 5 years being self-conscious or insecure about something that I know I can change. I said, dude, I'm not going to go out like that, because I said, life is short enough as it is. So I don't want to deal with that. So I was like, let me just nip it in the bud and just move on with life. Because I said, if I have the confidence to lose weight, I know I have the confidence to get over the hair loss.
Yeah. No, man, that's awesome. I find that really inspiring, especially because, there's going to be guys listening, the guy's gone through a similar thing where it's the hair loss that gives them that sort of thought where, like you said, don't want to approach women or girls, don't want to hang out with people. And I guess it doesn't matter what insecurity you have, really. If you can do something about it, if you can kind of take control of it, it just shows, right, you can overcome it, which I think is the most important message of all of this, right? You told me you did kind of look into a few things with the hair loss, cures and stuff like that, Propecia, things like that. How did that start for you? Did you sort of, like a lot of people, go on Google, how to combat hair loss, or did someone suggest something to you? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I remember when a little before shaving my head, I was on one of these one of these dating websites, and they got one of the live video cameras in the feeds, and I noticed a bald guy. I said, let me click on him. And I remember typing, I was like, dude, man, what do I do, man? I'm going bald. What do I do?
Yeah.
And he was like an older guy, probably like 38, 39. He's like, relax, man. He said, let me talk to you. He had like pep talk for me, like a 5-minute pep talk. Was pretty funny looking back on it now.
Oh, really?
He's like, hey. Yeah, he's like, just shave your head, dude. He said, you can do this. He said, don't worry about it. He said, if you worry about it, other people are going to worry about it. He said, just be confident in yourself. And that just helped me a lot. And then, because even before that, I was still looking at a Propecia. I looked into that, and I was like, I look at Propecia. I said, a pill. And then the side effects, I'm like, libido. I said, oh, no, man. I said, I cannot see myself taking a Propecia pill every day. No.
Yeah.
And the side effects, even just that one time, I said, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I looked at the hair transplants. I was like, no, hair transplants, that's just a Band-Aid. It's not a long-term thing. Because I noticed people, I read stories about people getting hair transplants. And then 5 years down the road, they had to shave their head anyway. They got a scar in their head. So I was like, you can spend, 10 grand on something that's going to last 5 years. No, that's not a good investment.
Yeah.
Look in the S&P, the hair tattoos. I was like, I see that on TV, and I'm like, sorry, but I was like, that just looks so weird to me and don't look realistic at all.
Yeah. The Propecia one interests me, right? I'm going to do a video on this soon as well, and I'm kind of doing a bit more research, looking into it. And just the thing that I don't understand is, it's like one of the biggest worries that guys have when going bald is women, right? Relationships, women, success. And so, like you said, even if there's the smallest possibility that you're going to get these side effects, right? In terms of a libido, you know, I've seen guys online saying that their penis literally shrunk, you know, or they have no sensation in it. And there's the rate of side effects is something like, it was 2.5% in a study of 18,000 people. That's over 400 people, you know. Those aren't like, it's not like 0.001, right? Those are big odds, and that's a big risk to take. And I mean, it just goes to show the lengths that guys will go, what they're willing to risk for hair. But I think there's something, it's twisted, right? There's just something not right about it.
It's not. I know someone too. I noticed, the guy was telling me before. He's like, even if you get your hair on here, top of your head, you're not fixing the deep issues that's inside of you. Yeah. Because even if you get the hair, you're gonna be worried. Oh man, if my hair's, you're still gonna be noticing. Oh, my hair's showing, my hairline, and my bald spot's still showing. You're still dealing with that. Yeah. You're still waking up every day, taking a Propecia pill like it's something to be ashamed of when it's normal. It happens in life. Yeah. When you get older, some people lose their hair when they're 20. 30, 40, 50, 60, it happens. It's like nothing to be ashamed of. So it's like, why deal with, I'd rather accept it now in my 20s than have the insecure when I'm in 30s or 40s, because I damn sure don't want to be 40 years old still worrying about my hair loss. I just no. No, that's a really good point you brought up there, where if it wasn't hair that they'd be worrying about, it would be something else. But also, like you said, once you know that the hair loss is happening, right? Once you realize that your hair is falling out, really it doesn't matter what treatment you try to use to hold on to it. The damage is almost already done once you know that it's happening, because like you said, if you're trying to sort of cure it in a sense or deal with it, it's always there, right? The problem is persistent. No matter what you go for, SMP, Propecia, hair transplants, PRP, you know, right? There's loads of things you can try to do, but once you know that the hair's falling out, the sort of mental side of it all, with the anxiety and stuff, is already begun, you know. And that's true. And I think it's fascinating. Really, it really does interest me. And so you eventually decided not to go down these treatment routes, like you said, for different reasons. And so when you sort of buzzed it off completely, are you going to a barber to do that, or do you do it yourself? I did it myself, because when I was getting my zero guard, I was doing it myself. So probably I started cutting my own hair when I was like 20, 21. So then I was just buzzing it down to zero. And then I noticed, I said, man, I got to shave my head. And then I just noticed it the day before our college class. The night before, I just took a razor to it. I took a Gillette Fusion I used and just cut it off. Yeah. Next day, we went to class, campus. I was nervous. I was like, oh, man. I said, this is going to be, I want the people to notice. Whole campus. Not one person said anything. Yeah, yeah. Hey, good morning, Jeff. How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? In my head, I'm like, oh, crap. Once people, nope, not one person said one thing. I was like, wow, really? Yeah. I said, people don't care. My mom never said anything. Yeah. Aunt and uncle didn't say one word. People just accepted it. I was like, no one said one word. I'm like, I was dealing with this all the time and all in my head, and I shaved it. And no one noticed anything. They just still, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
First didn't say anything, so I'm like, wow.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy.
You
build up all that worry, and then how you think people are going to react. You know, you're going to walk in the room like, oh my god, what have you done? Like, oh, you've gone bald, or they're going to laugh at you, and it's almost like, I think it's almost disappointing when you don't get a reaction. It's like, wait. Like, hello, like, this is a big change here, and people are just whatever, right? It just doesn't affect them, like, because as we know now, and as you probably realized afterwards, all those people have something that they're worried about. You know, they came into college that day or whatever, and they're thinking like, oh, is my hair right, or is my makeup on okay? Like, oh, my clothes, are they too tight, or do I look good? You know, everyone has something. Again, it's really interesting. And you said, so no one really sort of reacted at all. And so I would assume then you've not really had any negative reactions or anything about being bald in your sort of daily life or in school and things like that. People don't treat you differently or anything?
Not at all. I know some people, you tell that to, especially me, they're like, oh, you're black, so you can pull it up. I was like, it's still the principle. I probably had like 2 people. Like, I had a older woman, she was a customer. She asked me, she said, oh yeah, you got a bald head? She said, oh, I think she said her son was. She said, yeah, my son lost his hair when he was 28. I said, yeah, I lost mine pretty much early 20s, like 20, 21. She said, wow, well, you have a nice head shape for it. I said, thank you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only reaction I got. But other than that, women I talked to and stuff, never noticed it at all, because it's more than just your hair. And the confidence too is, and my thing is, it's only an issue if you make it an issue. If you're insecure about it, then women are going to pick up on it just like that. So that's why I say it's just, I've never got any bad reaction at all, because we're so much more than the outside appearance. It's like, it's nice to, dress nice, you be in shape and stuff, but it's like, especially with women, it's like, you think looks really on the top priority list for women or any other people, it's like, you're just in a shallow world. That's my opinion. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think, like you said, a lot of it comes down to attitude, like you say, right?
It is.
How you carry yourself, and however you view yourself, you're gonna give that energy off to other people, and that's how people are gonna view you, right? They're gonna assess you. If they see you kind of awkward and shy,
Yep.
they're gonna feed off that, right? Do you think then, if you don't even acknowledge the fact that you're bald, other people don't acknowledge it too? Do you think that too?
I think so too. But it's like, it's only an issue like if you make it, if you bring it up or something like that, or it's like, oh, you see a guy walking by, you're with the girl or something, it's like, oh, he has a nice haircut, I wish I had hair. Then that's when an issue like that. But other than that, I don't think it's not an issue. And if it is, just if someone said, oh man, you're bald, man, I'm like, yeah, I'm bald. So what? And I said, that's life. You never seen a bald dude? It's like, hey,
yeah. No,
we're not an alien species.
Yeah, man, it's true. And so with women, right? Because I get this question asked a lot. People, as they watch these podcasts, they want to really know, what your experience has been. Because again, people think that if you get rejected as a bald guy, it's got to be because you've got no hair. What have you got any sort of specific experiences or things like that with going on dates or approaching women? I've been speaking to a guy recently who says, since he started posting pictures of his bald head on Tinder, he's got like no matches going on Tinder. I don't know, man. Tell me a bit more about your experiences with women.
Oh, man, I wouldn't even Tinder. That's one of the most shallow places to ever date.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even recommend that for any guys at all. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna. It's Tinder. It's like this shallow. One of the most shallow things you can get, man. So in my experience, I'm more confident. I have more dates now than back then, even when I had hair. Because back then, even when I had hair, I was still self-conscious. But now I'm fully confident. I'm much older now. Confident in myself.
Yeah.
I'm getting more dates. I'm more confident women. That's the only thing that changed.
Yeah.
I'm bald now, but I'm more confident in myself, more comfortable in my skin.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell all the guys. Just be comfortable in your skin, confident, and just don't take two things too seriously. And it's like, And of course, when you get rejected stuff, it all happens. We all get rejected one way or another. So it's like, don't take it too personal. It's like, just because you get rejected, it's not because of your hair. It's not because you're hired or anything like that. It's because other issues, man. And it's like, women are not that complicated as much. They're not as shallow as guys are.
Yeah.
Because even while dealing with my hair loss, the other guys were, like I said, cousin stuff, were messing with me about my hairline, but I never had one girl, teenage girl or girl in the 20s, my age, say one thing about my hair.
Yeah.
Except for the older woman, but I never heard a girl I went on a date with say, "You're bald. I don't like bald guys." "Oh, you're bald." They didn't say one word because I was confident, I was charming, I was funny. And that's all women care about, really. They just people think, oh, women are looking for these guys have a full head of hair. They got to be 6'4", male model looks, abs. We could just go to any Walmart. You see a couple right now, with a hot woman with a guy that's like average looking. You'd be like, wait, he's not a 6 foot. He don't have a full head of hair. He's balding. How did he get a girl? Because that's much more than he looks.
Yeah, man. I agree. Totally agree. And so, like you said, you've had no problems in age. You mentioned about age as well. And I've talked in previous videos that I feel like at a young age, if you have to deal with these things, you know, I mean, everyone has insecurities, but if you learn to kind of deal with them the right way, I feel like you actually, it's just such a huge and valuable learning experience. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about what's really important and things like that. And you mentioned there with age, you said, you know, do you kind of feel like you've identified things that actually matter? You know, like you said, how to talk to people, your attitude and things like that. In terms of like success, you know, work and things like that, do you think having dealt with those things, it's made you a more confident and sort of stronger person?
Oh, most definitely, man. That's what I look at hair loss now as a positive because it made me a whole better person. It made me focus on stuff that actually matters in life because, especially my success and confidence. I'll be 27 next month, at the end of next month, the 27th of May. So it's like, the older I get, I'm more confident. It's like, dude, I just don't want to be how it was like a couple years ago, just self-conscious stuff, insecure. So the more success I have, the more I'm like, all right, what matters to me more now is being confident in my job, my goals, friends, and family. Like people right now, growing up, I talk to it right now. They're like surprised. They're like, Justin, you were so shy back then. I was shy, insecure as a teenager, but now I'm more confident in myself. I'm laughing and joking with people. I like meeting new people. So that's what I think hair loss is. It reframes your mind that it's like, all right, I'm dealing with this at a young age, hair loss. I just cut it off and focus on the things that actually matter in life instead of worrying about propitiating them every day, monotony in your hair, worried about a hair transplant. Yeah. Because you don't want that to take up all your time. We could be doing something more productive that actually matters in your life. Because people, we died and not going to be going to the grave. Oh, he has such nice hair. He was, you know, they just say how good of a person you are.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. How
many people you help?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. You know, when it all ends, I don't think people are going to be saying, oh, how was his hair, right? People aren't going to be stood up. People aren't going to be stood up and said there, well, hey, this guy was an asshole, but hey, at least he had good hair till the day he died. I think that's a really good point. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. So let's talk about from your own experiences, right? What advice you kind of want to give to people? I mean, I think, you know, we kind of know where we're going with this conversation, of course, but from your sort of personal perspective, of course, there's still guys there. They're on the fence. You know, they know that they kind of need to do something about it. They're not sure how they can tackle the hair loss. You know, just sort of give us a bit of a summary from your own experience. What the kind of the small things that really helped you deal with it so positively, and what advice you'd give to those people.
I think the best advice, the small thing that I think the best advice I give is just shave it off, man. It's like deal with if it's something that's really bothering you day by day, just shave it off. Even with you can even do a buzz cut, or you can just get a wet razor and just shave it. But I say just shave it because you feel so much freedom. I heard this word mentioned all the time when people say they have freedom. It is. It's like you just get the shackles off your handcuffs off your head because that's what it is. You just take off your insecurity or something. Because I noticed even dealing with it, I'd be checking my head. Back then, I was checking my head, and I think that'd be the best advice to shave it because hair loss is something that in your mind, it could take over your mind day and night. I've seen it happen before personally too. So I say shave it off and just move on with life and focus on stuff, because if you worry about it morning, you're gonna be worried about it in afternoon, daytime. I see it all the time. You don't want to be years around, 4 years go by, 5 years go by, you're still letting it affect your life, not going to parties, not hanging out with friends. So I say just shave it off. Because a recommendation I do is the 90 days I've seen Sly Ball guys do. I think it's 30 days, a month. Shave your head for a month. If you like the look, then hey, rock it. Rock the new you. If not, you can go to a buzz cut. But I say just deal with it, because just being on the fence, you got to do something. You either got to, it's like sink or swim. You got to do something.
Yeah.
And that'd be the best advice, to shave it off. And just be more confident in yourself, and just look for other ways to improve your life. It's like, all right, I could be in more shape. I could actually change my purpose and dreams. I could do other hobbies. I could learn a new skill or something. And that's why I say just shave it off and just move on with life, because you don't want to go down any routes like getting a hair transplant, regret it, S&P and regret it, stuff like that, take Propecia and regret it. So it's just the best thing is just to shave it off and just rock the new you. Grow a beard if you can do it. I had a beard, I shaved it off, but rock a beard if you can do it. Just
go with it, right? Just own it.
That's the best way.
You just got to own it. You got to own what you've got to the maximum you can go. Just do the best with what you've got, right? And don't look for fixes and to change things, because deep down you don't need it. And I mean, this is the thing that I'm noticing now. You know, we're saying all the same things, right? I love talking to guys like you who have been through it, and we all say the same thing. But there's a very good reason why we all say the same thing, because that's what works. You know, that's what works. And I'm going to do a video on this coming up very soon. But I was asked before, you know, someone asked me, why don't you talk more about the sort of treatments, right? And, oh, hey, you know, because I could go a middle road and I could say to people, oh, if you wanna embrace it, embrace it. If you don't, then hey, you can get this hair transplant. But the reason why I don't is because I think deep down that the shaving it off and accepting it is just hands down the best solution. You know, it's the best solution. And I feel like even if you do try to hold on to it with minoxidil and stuff, like you said, so many guys end up just shaving it anyway. You may as well cut out all the BS in the middle, all the money, all the worrying, and just go straight for the win. You know, just take the hardest action. You know, the thing that you need to build up the most courage to do, and just get rid of it. Just go for it then. And it's just such a reward afterwards, you know, and that's why we keep talking about this here on the podcast and all the videos, because, you know, it just is the best damn thing to do.
It is, and I've seen guys like there's a podcast, I think it's still around, Hair Loss Talk. I think the guy's name is Joe Tillman and Spencer. I think his last name Cobra or something like that. They run like a hair loss thing. He has I still check him every now and then. I still check up on him. I see guys hear about him at all. He's a host. He recommends hair transplants and all this stuff, the minoxidil, Propecia. But I hear all the time people are calling to him. Some guys in their 20s, but guys in their 30s or 40s, getting 4 or 5 hair transplants, still worrying about it.
Yeah.
Still complaining about the hair loss. I'm like, man. And he tells, and the host is honest too. He's like, dude, he said, you can just shave it and move on, get away from here. Because I guess he did it for guys calling in. Oh, I just got a hair transplant. The hair's not coming in. It's not much later, and it's still not growing in. And it's like, I don't want to deal with that at all. You have to worry about it. Is my hair transplant all right? Is my hair line showing? Am I losing hair today? A man should have to worry about that, man. It's like, where I have enough pressure as it is. Well, that's how society is. It's such a shallow image. Especially feel bad for women about dealing with this. Like, we live in a world now where it's like, if your looks are number one, you got to look. You have to look like an Instagram model, like be in Hollywood or something like that, and it's just not reality at all. You see people. I see people all the time. Gorgeous, beautiful women, guys with 6 packs, with full head of hair, and they're still not happy. So it's like, even if you got hair, will that really change your life?
Yeah. No, it's a good thing to reflect on, right? The dog, my dog sat at home the whole time. The podcast you mentioned there about other guys talking about it, is it called The Bold Truth?
Yeah, The Bold Truth. With Spencer Corbett.
Yeah, just before we filmed this, I actually came up in my recommendations, and I saw the 2 guys sat there with, you know, thinnish looking hair, doing this Bold Truth podcast, and you said, yeah, that guy there said he's on his 4th and 5th hair transplant, right? Still worrying about it.
Yep.
Yeah, still worrying about it. Still, always on your mind. Yeah, man, craziness. Awesome.
I think the coach Jill Tillman, I think he had like 5. He had like 5 or 6 hair transplants. His hairline is still not has 6 transplants. It's like his hair's still not. I'm like, wow.
It's like, when do you say enough's enough, right? When do you come to that realization? Crazy.
I can't deal with that pain too. Ugh,
no,
man.
Crazy. Well, Justin, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. I think you said all the right things. Really great story. I've really enjoyed this episode of the podcast, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on here. Great attitude, mate. I can feel it. I can feel it through this conversation. Positive guy. And I think it's going to be really helpful to guys watching this episode of the podcast, So thanks so much for being on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here. And a tip for guys, stay away from Tinder. Do not stay away from Tinder. That's be the best.
Yes, keep it in the real world, right? That way you're going to meet
Absolutely.
You're going to meet someone with genuine emotions, right? They're going to know who you are straight off the bat. No, I agree, man. I agree. You find someone who can. It's not even overlooking the boldness, right? When you meet someone in person, they meet you, right? Who you are in a normal casual setting. It's the way to do it, man. It's the way to do it. Awesome, Justin. Well, I wish you all the best with the work and your goals, stuff like that. Make sure you stay in touch. There is gonna be a time. You hear it here now. I'm gonna be coming over to the States. We'll do a meetup or something like that. We'll do a podcast in person. It's 100% going to happen. First stop, I've obviously got to move back to England. Once we get everything set up there, I'm going to get myself over to the States, and I'll look forward to meeting you there, man.
All right, can't wait, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, everyone watching, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. And we will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.